Welcome to the Vertx Web and Keycloak tutorial. On this tutorial you will learn how to use OAuth to secure your web application and use Keycloak as your identity manager. So let's get started. I have here a very simple Vertx web application that basically mounts a route under protected sum page and will return a string back to you saying welcome to the protected resource. If I run this application right now, I will go like this, run. Now my application is running. I will switch my browser, go to localhost 8080 protected sum page. Well, I get the resource directly, even though it's not, I named it protected. So we need to secure it. So let's go back to the code. And to secure an application with OAuth in Vertx is quite simple. So basically you need to add the OAuth provider, and we have a helper on Vertx Web, which is an OAuth handler that will do all the OAuth protocol handshake for you. So you don't need to care about how to get the tokens and redirect to the right places. So what you need to do is something like this. So let's start OAuth handler, and we call it OAuth 2 equals OAuth-handler.create, and this takes two arguments: a provider, which is the OAuth, it's our Vertx auth implementation, and the application URL, public URL. So in order to create the OAuth provider, we do OAuth2, which is the provider, and now we say, well, we're going to use Keycloak, so create Keycloak. I need to pass a Vertx instance, and the flow is authentication code, and now you need to pass the configuration. So, well, let's just say JSON object for now. And now we pass the second argument, and the second one is just a string HTTP localhost 8080. This must be the public URL of your application. So now we have a handler, so now we need to set it up on our application. OAuth requires us to set up at least one endpoint called the Callback Endpoint. So we're gonna do that right now. So we do OAuth2 dot setup callback, and then we ask the router to give us the callback path. So the auth will handle all this code for us, all these calls. And now we need to finally secure our application. And to finally secure application with Unity, we need to do router dot route dot protected slash everything under protected should be first handled by the OAuth handler. So at this moment we have a secure application. Well, almost, because we haven't configured the Keycloak. So as I said, we're going to use the Keycloak as our identity provider. I'm not going to go over the installation steps and configuration. I'm just going to use a pre-built Docker image that has a Keycloak server, and you can try it yourself like this. So you need to run Docker and specify two environment variables, the user and password, with the admin user and admin password. And because I specify that my application will run on port 8080, I am redirecting Keycloak to use port 9000. So I start, I enter my password. Now, at this moment Keycloak will start in the background, and meanwhile I'll switch to my browser and we can start configuring the Keycloak. I think it should come up pretty soon. Yeah, it's up and running. Administration console. I use admin because these are the variables I just passed on Docker. Okay, so not going on the details here. I'm just gonna go through a very simple way to set up Keycloak. So we will use the default realm, so master, and now I need to set up a new application. An application is a client in Keycloak terms, so I need to go into clients. There are a couple of already connected applications. Let's create a new one. Create. I'm gonna call it front end. Yes. Yeah, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it Vertx app, or okay, let's call it Vertx. Call it Vertx. And now I need to specify the public root URL for my application. This must match the string we just entered on the other side. So here I'm gonna be 8080. So I say save. Several more configurations show up. You can specify how secure you want the application. I can say, okay, this is a confidential application, for example. So whatever. And now here we set up our callback to be callback. So let's call it here also callback. Dot star. We could remain everything, but then, well, let's be strict and say callback is the right URL. So we save, and at this moment you have configured Keycloak for your application. Now, how do you integrate with Vertx? Quite simple. We go to installation, and on the drop down, of course, we're not on JBoss subsystem XML application, so we go with a plain JSON. So we copy this, switch to the IDE, and here you would probably load this file from the file system or the class path, but for the sake of simplicity, we will just hardcode it here, like this. So we have the application here. Let's restart the application. So application has restarted. Let's go back here. So I'm going to ensure that I have no session running on, so I will start in a private window, incognito window. So now I go to the same URL, and now suddenly my application is being redirected to Keycloak. As you can see, I entered the, let's do it again. So I do some page, what was it? Some page, protect some page. As you can see, localhost 8080. And I get redirected to the configuration on 9000. Well, I could use admin, but that's also not interesting because you guys still don't know how to configure this. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna close this browser and go here. I'm gonna say users, and I say add user, just to show you that how it works. I do PM Lopez, my username. Yeah, I don't need to fill anything else. Yeah, say it's enabled. I say save. And now, well, I didn't set up the password, so I need to impersonate the user and go here and say my password is password. Let me see. Password for testing. It's good enough because it's all on my local machine, development machine. Save. My password has been updated. I can sign out. Doesn't matter. I can now go again and say new private window. Some page. I'm going to protect the resource, and now we are here. I need to do PM Lopez and the password that I just typed in. I'll log in, and there you go. Welcome to the protected resource. So Let's say that some page. Let's say that I type 123. Of course, it's not the right password. You guys will see, well, Keycloak is managing all the passwords, so no secrets being managed on Vertx. Everything is handled on Keycloak. All the identities are safe, and this is pretty much how it works. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next one.